All right, let's head to Texas for a couple of interesting names coming out actually, and we'll start with another speed freak and RAS stud in Adonai Mitchell. Kate, tell us about this potential first round wide receiver.
You mentioned the relative athletic score ranked fifth among wide receivers, fifth like ever,
Crazy.
fifth since what I think 1987,
Yeah,
dating
yeah.
back. Like you are getting an absolute freak athlete in AD Mitchell. And what's so exciting about him is he does like it this feels like just a very common thread with this class in general is that unique combination of height, weight, speed. He's got it all. And you talk about elite size, body control, it's something that's very special. And what you like about him, like because of that size, he can make catches outside of his body. He's got an above average wingspan. He's a pretty solid route runner for his size as well. Want to kind of shout out his overall profile, his production profile in particular, not necessarily the efficiency metrics, but that's going to be the biggest hangup in his final season at Texas. So, posted 55 receptions, 845 receiving yards, 11 touchdowns after transferring from Georgia. Had 2 seasons there. Sophomore season at Georgia was one to forget, but one that was kind of marred by ankle injuries and missed, had this ankle sprain in week 2 of his second season, missed most of the year, kind of came back late and didn't see a whole lot before he eventually transferred to Texas and then had to make his way into this Texas offense where Xavier Worthy had already kind of established him as this wide receiver one for the offense. So, never surpassed that 845 receiving yard mark, but not necessarily gonna ding him there for that second season at Georgia because of his overall health. Now, for as much as I like him, some weaknesses, not necessarily like despite the fact that he's big, and 6'2" and a quarter inch, 205 pounds, doesn't have as much play strength as you would think. 43.3% contested catch percentage over the course of his collegiate career. That ranks below average. The yards after the catch ability, probably the biggest red flag when it comes to AD Mitchell. Over the past 3 seasons, averaged 3 yards after the catch per reception. That ranked 353rd out of 356 qualifying wide receivers. Yeesh.
Yeah, it's that was a big red flag that I had written as well. It's just first percentile among prospects since 2019, right? And look, in a similar vein as Brian Thomas is Adonai Mitchell, we have these kind of lanky, athletic speedsters, right? Who have this untapped potential as far as kind of what they can be in the NFL and how teams can utilize them to become like true offensive weapons. And I think the upside is absolutely there with Mitchell as much as it is with Thomas. The problem for me was as well, like you mentioned, the production profile as far as efficiency metrics go, it's pretty poor, to say the least. And definitely some of that has to do with different offenses and dealing with injuries as well. But 1.68 career yards per route run, being 13th percentile among prospects since 2019. Like even his best career season in terms of yards per route run at 1.72 is just third percentile since 2019. And then like receiving grade, yards per route run from different alignments, they're all well below average. Career missed tackles forced at per reception, just 15th percentile. So even with that yak ability being really low too, like there's reasons why that is. He's not making guys miss in the open field. So I struggled to find like a lot of positives in his actual like college production with basically the shining light of his profile being in his adjusted separation rate. So open target rate on throws 10 plus yards downfield. Basically, he ranked 82nd percentile among prospects there and finished with a 76th percentile explosive play rate, which you would hope to see from these kind of speedsters. And he was better than Thomas in that regard as well, right? So his route tree was also a bit more diverse than a Brian Thomas, even though it is still very heavy on the go routes and the hitches, like most vertical threats are. But there is a bit more to his game as far as kind of the underneath stuff, like slants, crossing routes, those ins and outs as well, right? Which was nice to see. But yeah, I did. I found more red flags for him as well. Kind of when doing the personnel adjusted yards per route run, like he was put in more favorable situations with fewer wide receivers on the field at once, but failed to kind of deliver at a rate that you'd hope to see from potential first round wide receivers. And as highlighted in the article, which you could check out for free on pff.com now, that success rate for those lower performers in yards per route run over expected is actually quite low. So those things were definitely concerning for me. But again, like, you see the upside, you see why this class is considered so deep, is that they have these guys, like these athletic speedsters, like Adonai Mitchell, like a Brian Thomas, that can absolutely work out once they get to the NFL. And again, they're not finished products coming out of college, so there's still work to be done there, and it's hard to shut the door on them completely because of poor production profiles, basically.